We remain in the transfer season, and as usual, it's time to discuss the best trending transfer news and some of the best things that have happened in the transfer world over the past couple of days. And Victor, without wasting much time, let's start with Chelsea. There seems to be something going on with Chelsea every single time, and the latest reports are saying that they are willing to sell Enzo Fernandez if the right offer comes in. Real Madrid are known to be admirers of this player, but the question is, from a Chelsea perspective, does this make sense for the Blues?
Of course not. Even after spending what over 1.5 billion pounds under the Bowley ownership, and they still don't have many players who should be considered untransferable. But Fernandez is definitely one of them. Like he's one of those very few ones who, regardless of the offer that comes in, shouldn't be allowed to go. But then again, it would just prove again that the Chelsea boardroom know nothing about football. Let Fernandez go, but pay 55 million pounds for Jacquet from Rame, right? So yeah, sure, go for it. You're just gonna prove everyone right.
Yeah, pretty interesting. And over to you, Max. Leeds United are in talks to sign Romano Smith from Werder Bremen for a price of around £13 million. Do you think this is a player that Leeds need at the moment?
I'd probably say that he's not the worst attacking midfielder. His assist stats are quite good in terms. I mean, overall in Bundesliga, he's one of like top 15%. But when you look at his scoring abilities and shooting abilities, he has only 0.08 xG, excluding penalty scored, and that's quite low margin, I'd say. But for the teams like Leeds, sometimes you cannot sign the best offers because the bigger clubs take them, and this is not. It's like 13 mil is quite low for the Prem sides, even if you're Leeds United. But I'd say he's definitely not the best choice, and there's some players that are still available on the market for the same price. So I wouldn't say that he's the best, but he's obviously not the worst.
Mm, yeah, fair point. And back to you, Victor. After missing out on Guehi, Liverpool have identified Borussia Dortmund centre back Nico Schlotterbeck and Inter centre back Alessandro Bastoni as potential targets to strengthen their backline. In your opinion, do you think these players are good alternatives to Maguire?
I think they would be, but they would not come cheap. I think it's very hard to strike any deal for either of these two this month. Schlotterbeck has a year and a half left on his contract. Bastoni has 2.5 years. Dortmund still need everyone at their best because they're not sure of making the top eight in the Champions League. In the Bundesliga, they're in a, let's face it, it's a losing race for the title. On the other hand, Inter, they're doing well. They're top in the Serie A. They should make one of the top eight positions in the UCL. The problem is both players would cost much more than Guehi would have even back in the summer. So Palace said no to 35 million because they could not get a replacement on time. Liverpool could have added 5 or 7 million and still gotten it done, sweetened the pot a bit for Palace, let Guehi go even if they don't have a replacement completely secured. As for these two, I can imagine Inter asking for at least 55 million for Bastoni, especially in mid-season.
Yeah, fair point. And it's going to be a tough one to sign either of these players. But yeah,
Yeah.
moving on back to you, Max. Aston Villa are looking at a potential deal to sign Club Brugge midfielder Rafael Onyedika after losing Boubacar Kamara to injury. Do you think this would be considered a good move or not?
I'd say for the moment for Villa it's a great addition because he has definitely great stats in recoveries, duels won, aerial duels. Also, his shooting abilities quite well. The only thing is whether he's going to keep his form and his level at Prem, because now he's playing in Belgium and there's definitely much worse league overall. But I'd say for the demanding price, it's a great addition. And when Kamara recovers, he could be a good bench warmer and replacement player. So I'd say for this price, definitely a good one.
Yeah, fair enough. And just on the final note for this video, Victor, this one is not about the player, but it's about the manager. And this is a news that we are used to seeing every season at this point. Tottenham discussing a new managerial appointment, and the latest now is that Xabi Alonso is one of the names being discussed internally within the Tottenham board. There are reports that if Thomas Frank should lose to Borussia Dortmund in midweek, he might be sacked. In your opinion, if Thomas Frank is sacked and they look at Xabi Alonso as a replacement, would this come as a good development for Spurs?
I mean, this is just throwing things at the wall to see what sticks. Sure, bring Alonso in. I don't think it will make a difference. The biggest problem with Spurs is they've invested plenty, not as much as Chelsea, but the squad is only all right. And that's simply not enough for the expectations that the fans have, for the expectations that the board have. And on top of that, they've been missing some really important players all season long. Bentancur is out. Madison is out. Madison would have started even taxidermied for them, right? But he's out, and he's out for a long time. And I think he's nowhere near coming back. I don't think Frank is the biggest problem here. He is a bit of a problem, but he's not the biggest problem Spurs have. The biggest problem is the goddamn squad.
That's an interesting one. I think for me, the biggest problem is just the name Spurs. Once you,
Yeah.
the biggest problem is the name. I think they need to change the name of that club. But yeah, everything is looking pretty interesting at the moment. And of course, in the next coming days, we'll have more clarity on Thomas Frank's future. And we'll be sure to give an update here in another episode at EPL News.